invite Dr. Omkar Rai to please come forward and enlighten our audience with his words of wisdom.
Thank you, ma'am. Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. S. Guru Prasad ji, DG, DRDO, Sri Jaswinder Ahuja, Managing Director, Cadence India Limited, Sri Gaurav Sundaram, Convener of Think India, present in the audience, Ganesh ji, Rahul ji, and we also have a dignitary in the audience, Sri Dr. Grace Kulkarni ji. Participants in this very workshop or seminar from various national institutes of technology. It's my proud privilege to be here. In fact, I would congratulate the organizers, the Think India and Vidyarthi Nidhi for coming up with a very relevant topic. And that starts with make for India, serve India, live for India. And they have tried to connect all the dots together, which is very important foundation for the growth of this country. I would say that this very topic, Make for India, emanates from the kind of initiative that the governments and other stakeholders have been taking to make India a hub of manufacturing. And obviously, these kind of resolve rides on the solid foundation that India has been able to lay for its initiative and for its achievements for last 60 years. If you look at the kind of growth India has witnessed in the past, making significant contribution and impact on us has been in terms of the manufacturing that has happened in the automobile sector. In strategic sectors, we have been able to create our indigenous product. And in consumer sector, we have been doing very well. Apart from that, the most importantly, India has witnessed a very significant growth and achievement in terms of IT services. Almost three-decade-old IT industry in India is very strong. But we have not been calling it a manufacturing industry because it's a service industry. And today, India is home for most of the R&D that happens worldwide. The IT sector in India employs about 4 million engineers at any given point of time. And this sector adds about 2 lakhs engineers every year. The IT industry has moved up the value chain. And you would be very glad to know that most of the products that are created worldwide or developed within India. And that is why when we decide a topic, Make for India, I am very glad that obviously we have reached to a level where we can aspire to raise these kind of ambitions, which is Make for India. Make for India is obviously very ambitious slogan, very ambitious dream. Because so far we have been talking about Make in India. Make in India is a kind of call for anybody, any manufacturer, whether he is indigenous or he is a foreign company or a multinational. We have been calling them, come, Make in India for Indians and also for export. Here we don't talk about IPR. Here we don't talk about product. And Make for India is a slogan, a vision, a dream, which rides on the kind of, there are 2 pillars. First, that we create our own product and capitalize on our own demography and demand, and manufacture, create products for people of India. And this kind of dream can only be, seen if India has the kind of purchasing power, consuming power on par with the world. And that would mean that India has to evolve and transform it from 2,000 per capita income to $10,000 per capita income, say $20,000 per capita income. And this can only be achieved if India indulges in development of IPR technology products. India youth indulges in ideating, in dreaming for the creation of those kind of products which in turn create the desired wealth, which would raise our GDP and per capita income. And in turn, whatever product we will create will be targeted to the people of India, not for the people of United States of America. And that's the kind of dream I must congratulate Think India for coming up with this kind of theme, which is very, very ambitious in its own formation. But what I was just referring you, that we have a very strong foundation that has been led by our engineers and entrepreneurs over a period of 3 decades, and that has led to creation of lot of wealth, opportunity, and strength and potential in this country. I mentioned that 4 million engineers are there in the field of information technology working for various service companies. I would say that if you look at the statistics of 2016-17, we had exported in the field of IT and electronics in the tune of $117 billion. And if you look at the total world's statistics in terms of IT industry, the world over the world market stands about $1,200 billion, out of which about $173 to $178 billion is an outsourcing industry. And India has 56% of the share of entire world's outsourcing industry. We have done very outstanding in this regard. But if you look at the product industry in the world, which stands at $411 billion out of that $1,200 billion, we stand $6.1 billion. And this product market in the world is a challenge for us, is an opportunity for us at the same time. If we put up right policies in place, if our youth and youngsters and students, rather than seeking job, if start dreaming and ideating and trying to create their own enterprises, then only this $411 billion market can be captured by us. This idea is very strong. It's a power of idea. If you look at Indian TCS company, we all know that they have employed about 4 lakhs engineers at any given point of time, with about $18 billion turnover. This is a very amazing success that they have registered, they have performed. But if you look at the power of idea, the TCS is a service company. And TCS has been helping many multinationals in the entire world in creation of the products. And if you look at the any product company in the world, if you look at the turnover that Apple has recorded in the year 2016, it is in the tune of more than $100 billion, with the manpower merely 100,000 people. Means 1 lakh people and turnover crosses $100 billion. 4 lakh people in TCS, their turnover stands at $18 billion. What I'm trying to say that a strong foundation of IT service industry is already there. But what India has to aspire is to now transform from service to a product base, where we create products. These ideas come from nowhere. Manufacturing, creation of goods and products for the uses of people in terms of gadgets, it can be conceived and seen and can be learned from others. But idea is something, Facebook, it just came out of nowhere. Just 2 people, they thought, let us network, let us create a platform. And the kind of wealth they have created is enormous. And therefore, if you read new thoughts that are coming up, world is getting skewed in terms of wealth. All these new ideas would garner and capture the entire wealth of this world. And that is why people in the world are talking about fixed annual basic income scheme, where all the wealth will lie in the hands of dreamers, and rest of they would distribute that wealth to their fellow citizens. And that is the kind of time that we are going to face in times to come. And that is where all of us have to dream, we have to conceive and ideate, so that we can indulge in creation of thoughts, creation of product, creation of ideas, and creation of those kind of things which create value and worth over a period of time. If you look at the electronics industry in this country, we have not done well in electronics manufacturing. We don't have much product within this country. And the demand of electronic goods in this country is growing every year. Right now, about $90 billion market the electronics industry has in this country. And about 60% of that we are importing. And 40% of that we are manufacturing within this country. But we don't have IPR, we don't have those licenses to produce them. And that is why we are working at a very bottom of the value chain, and most of the profits are being taken away by those people who have invested in R&D and those people who have created the products. And that is why the future would lie not only in product in the IT arena, but also in the electronics arena. And with both of the things together, if we march ahead and indulge in entrepreneurship, we can achieve the kind of vision that we have today. India has taken many initiatives to make sure that if you move forward, you are not bogged down by the problems in terms of obstacles. And that is why you have seen India has taken initiative in terms of Make in India initiative. We are promoting the measures so that people come and make in India. They manufacturing within India for domestic consumption and also for export. For that, we have done very well in easing the bureaucracy and growing in terms of ease of doing business. Things are made simpler, and that promotes the manufacturer to come and make within India. We have also taken initiative in terms of Startup India initiative, which is a kind of very, very important initiative to promote the startup movement in this country, so that the youth and investors of this country, students of this country, they ideate, they create their idea, and they indulge with an entire ecosystem that is available, and come up with their entrepreneurship. India has now a very growing upcoming ecosystem which can promote the entrepreneurship within it. We have large number of mentors, we have large number of angel investors, we have the people who have capacity to moderate and promote and improvise your ideas, to work with you so that your dreams, your ideas can be converted into products. And this is the kind of ecosystem that we have today. I am sure that in times to come, India would definitely be able to indulge in terms of number of entrepreneurs coming up in times to come. India stands at about, we are fighting with Israel to stand at third place in terms of number of startups in the entire world. And that's very encouraging. We don't have the number from China because they are very, they don't share their numbers in terms of their statistics is impossible to be accessed. And that is why I would say even if they stand at third, India is competing with Israel to secure fourth place or third place in terms of number of startups. And that's very important, that's very encouraging for all of us. If you look at the India's strength to capitalize on the emerging technologies, I would love to refer to a study by Accenture Consulting. In the year 2017, Accenture has forecasted. Accenture has created a report called the rewire for growth. And that is a study focused for India that talks that the AI market in India stands at $180 million, very small. And if they say, keeping in view of the number of talent that we have in India, number of students we have in India, the kind of demand we have in India, the study says that if we put our educational institutions in proper place to nurture that training and that education to our students, and if stakeholders put a total R&D ecosystem in place, AI itself can transform the Indian economy in times to come, and it can raise the India GDP by 1.3% by 2035, which in turn would create a kind of contribution to GDP in tune of more than $900 billion. This is a huge number. And the total value addition in terms of this contribution in Indian GDP will be $9.7 trillion. This is a very amazing number that they are forecasting. I don't have any insight right now to say that what will happen by 2035. But then Accenture has reported this manner, and they have taken stock of the growth and the potential and in the scenario from all over the world. And that is why I would say that India's youth are in a position to capitalize on the emerging technology. The world over, a lot of data is being generated. The sensor, the IoT devices are capturing a lot of data, which is generating the demand for storage of the cloud. And then what do we do with this data? We have to analyze this data, and therefore the big data, the analytical tools. And we are very strong in this. Indian students, because of their STEM capability, are very capable of indulging in analytics. And that is why the whole scenario that is ahead of us, we call it emerging technology. India is best suited place where we can engage with this technology, create products, and could capture the entire wealth that world is going to create because of these emerging technologies. With this, I would call upon all the students, all the participants to think in direction and work with the whole ecosystem that exists today and which is also growing over a period of time. We have with us very eminent speakers, from a very strategic sector, from DRDO, from ISRO. They are consuming a lot of technology. We have Jaswinder Ahuja ji, who promotes, design in semiconductor area. India is a very great place where most of the design happens inside, but we are not able to capitalize on those design capacity and create, manufacture those chips within this country. And these are the challenges which lies ahead of us. And I am sure that with all stakeholders in place, we'll be able to, meet all those requirements, face all those challenges, and would be able to create an India which would definitely be a kind of brand known for its quality, known for its wealth, known for its future readiness. Thank you very much.